Greetings, gang, and welcome. I am very excited to be about to announce the winner and the runner-up and a few honorable mentions for the Salamander drum cover contest. There were 80 submissions, which blew my socks off. I put this out there not knowing anyone would be interested in participating, and I was totally humbled and blown away by the response. But more so by the care and the time, the preparation, and the love that you guys put into these submissions. I could tell that time went into making these happen. So many cool drum parts, so many incredible things, so much good music was made in doing this. There were submissions from, I don't even know how many countries around the world, because most people didn't say, hey, I'm from here. But even just the random people that said, hey, I'm writing you from Germany, from South Africa, from Ukraine, from wherever, there had to be 20 to 30 countries involved in this. And so cool that we can come together around this common goal, and everyone seemed to have this extremely positive view of it, that it was just an opportunity to try something new, an opportunity to challenge yourself, and just go for it and see what happens. It seems like, everyone's, of course, like, you want to win, you're excited to win, but I think for the most part, people are seeing the value in just doing the contest, which is, at the end of the day, the most important part. As someone who has done many contests, the growth and the learning comes from just participating and putting yourself on the spot, turning the cameras on, turning the microphone on, even if it's just your iPhone, and sort of facing your nerves and doing it. So first of all, you should all be enormously proud for having participated at all, because I know way more people saw the video announcing the contest than participated in the contest. So if you are watching this as someone who submitted a video, you should already be proud. You've already achieved something that is notable. So thank you for taking part in it. I did sit and watch every single video all the way through. I took notes as I did so. And yeah, there were just so many cool ideas. So I'm about to announce the winner, the runner-up, and then some other stuff. And what I want to do that you don't usually get from contests is I want to explain to you why I chose the winner, and just talk about some things that I thought were cool. And then there were so many different videos and so many different parts of different videos that had such cool ideas in them. So even the people that didn't win, so there's tons of videos that came in where I'd be like, oh man, like I never would have thought to do that. What a creative idea, what a musical performance, what an intense performance, what a creative use of that sound, whatever it might be. So there were so many things coming in that I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share these with whoever I can, only because I'm excited about how cool the stuff you guys did is. So let's get on to announcing the winner. So before I do that, I want to explain kind of what I was looking for as I was watching all these videos. At the end of the day, any contest is sort of an imperfect thing, right? At the end of the day, you're subject to my opinion, my musical preferences, and so forth. So I'm aware of that, but just so you know, what I was looking for as I was watching all these, and this is the first time I've done this, so as I started watching, I didn't know what I was looking for. But as I started watching more and more videos, what I realized was rare and valuable to me was a performance that was captivating all the way through, and a performance that was never distracting from the music, that it only complemented the music. And for some people that meant doing very simple, almost meditative things. For some people that meant chopping out and playing a lot of stuff. There wasn't a right or wrong, because as you'll see by the end of this video, there were people who did very simple things and people who did very complex things. And as you watch the videos, because I'm going to tell you who they are and you can click the links in the description, you'll see that there really isn't a better or worse there, which you'll see why it's so hard to do sort of the job of judging, is because you could take it a totally different direction and do it as well. So I was looking for at no point in the song did I want to be thrown out of the music. Like, oh, that was a weird choice. You know what I mean? So, for some videos, for example, there would be 80% of the song was like so cool, creative grooves, appropriately placed chops, whatever, and then there'd be a section or two that like really I thought was inappropriate or was too sloppy or was whatever that threw me out of it. And it was a bit tragic in those cases because I was like, man, this might have been a finalist if that 20% of the video had been as intentional and as thoughtful and musical as the rest of it. So that's kind of what I was looking for. It's a little bit vague, but it had to be a little bit vague because I got everything from metal drummers to jazz drummers submitting to this. And it was a cool challenge as a judge too. But anyways, without further ado, like I said, I'm going to announce the winner, the runner-up, talk about those videos, and then please watch the rest of the video, because I'm going to talk about some of the videos that didn't win, but that are absolutely, you must watch, because there's some gold in a lot of the things that you guys sent, and I really want you guys to see them. If not for another contest, just for your own appreciation, but also to maybe, I think we can all, I was inspired by it as well, glean some information, some inspiration from a lot of the ideas that were submitted. So, without further ado, congratulations, first place winner, Jason Moser, who is from Johannesburg, South Africa. I happen to have met him recently. He played Something Else, the song Something Else, from the album, and it was incredible. So this was the perfect example of what I just described. The video from beginning to end he's so confident, he's so calm, that watching the video, you feel doubtless. So you're along for the ride from beat one to the end, and you never have that uneasy feeling like, is he gonna mess up? Because that's very uncomfortable as a listener. That really throws you out of the moment. So it was super mature. I'm not gonna play his whole video here, but you can see the link to it in the description. But just to highlight a couple parts of it, right? So a couple things that stood out to me, right? One, he was creative with the parts. So this song is kind of hard to be creative with because it's a song that goes so everyone's instinct is like, okay, well, so he did a few things that were pretty clever. He turned some of he added, for example, double time where there wasn't double time. So like in verse 1 here, which is around here, I'm clicking around on the video here, by the way.
Sick of all these empty streets. Take one and copy, paste, repeat. Something else.
Okay, so we're grooving real hard. Before that, one thing that caught my eye right in the beginning is his use of the second triplet. So there were subtle things that Jason did that told me this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's an advanced professional drummer. And one of the first signs of that was in the beginning, before what I just showed you actually. Listen to these snare drums. Second triplet. Right? So he's pacing himself in the beginning. He's not doing anything crazy. He's just saying, hey, like, I understand syncopation of triplets. Like, boom, there's a little second triplet for you. If he's watched anything I've done, he knows that I value that. So it moves on, it builds beautifully. Throughout the video, I mean, if you look at the groove, it's perfect. It feels super good to listen to. The balance, a big part of groove that I've talked about in clinics and stuff, I don't know if there's videos about it, is the balance of your limbs, right? So your kick drum and your backbeat are powerful, priority one. And you've got, maybe up there you've got the bell ride or accents on the hi-hat, or maybe it's a second priority and you've got ghost notes that remain here. And the disbursement of these dynamics around the kit is one of the things that makes things really groove. Or one of the things that is a sort of sign if something's not grooving. You can sort of look like, well, is the balance off? Because that might fix the problem. So it starts building. So, and then a minute and a half in, he puts in a chop that says, yeah, I can play too. So listen to that chop right there in the break.
I need something to burn, give me something. I got nothing to lose, and you got so much to give. Oh, I'm thinking.
Right? Mature choice to save that. This was a recurring theme. I would be surprised, pleasantly surprised, by several of what you guys did, where you'd save, like, I'd be like into the video, like, this is really cool. This guy's really, he's got chops. Like, you show, like, I've got independence, I've got these cool grooves. And then in the outro or later in the song, you take it to a level that I didn't even know you could, right? I thought you were already using your chops. And then you'd bust out some stuff that late in the song where I was like, holy crap, there's still gas in the tank. This guy's pushing even harder. And it really would just like excite. It was just the climax of the movie right there. And then Jason goes into this, and this was obvious to me that this was okay, it's a drum cover contest. I'm gonna do something impressive drum-wise. But he didn't necessarily chop. What he did was superimpose a different tempo based on a polyrhythm over this section. The repeating section is something else, something else, something else, something else. So listen to what he does here.
Something else, something else. Everything that I want, be my.
So I know that Jason, he's already proven to himself a minute and 50 seconds in to be a mature musician who's making musical decisions. It's clear to me that he would never do that on a gig or on a record as just a fill, right? He did that because it's a drum cover contest. And he saw a window and said, I'm gonna do something cool here, but I'm gonna do something uniquely cool and something uniquely difficult. Because what he just did, I sat and listened to that like 20 times and was like, what rhythm is he placing those new, like implied quarter notes on? It took me quite a while to figure that out. And that was a cool choice too. Because sure, it sounds weird, right? If you put that on the record, it'd be a little much. But he wouldn't put that on the record. So that, just another moment of like, okay, like this guy's got control. That is an advanced concept. And it was done very well. Like, because you see him line up right back there on one. And those polyrhythms just do this. Line up, bam, back on one. So, super cool concept there. Okay, now the last bit of his solo that I'm going to show you and talk about is sort of the ending bit. So, he rocks out, and he saves the coolest, most rockin' fills for this end bit. Plugs him in, you're like, yeah, we are officially redlining. We're at level 10 right now. Amp is turned all the way up. And then in the last section where the band is in, you'll notice he does another clever time shift. Where, so in the melody, all those are on upbeats, right? Anticipations. But get on the third triplet. 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 all the way through. So that was tricky for some people because some people would accidentally hear that as the downbeat. So instead they go, they go, and I could tell when it was an accident for some people. So Jason does it here very intentionally on purpose. And you can tell that it's on purpose because he gets into it and comes back out of it with just perfect control in like a 4-bar chunk or something. It's just clear that he's doing that on purpose. And it was just a cool little sprinkle. Again, I know it wouldn't work on a record. He's not going to do it on a record. But as a subtle but very difficult thing to do, that late in the song, right before the end of the song, he finally pulled that out and I was like, no, you didn't. So listen to this whole bit and I'll just kind of give you a nod when he flips the beat there and comes back. But first, the cool fills in the build here.
I need something to burn, give me something. I got nothing to lose, and you got so much to give. You got so much to give.
comes back for the last 2 measures, perfectly on the grid where he was. So it's just a really cool example. I hope everyone takes time to watch it. This was, to me, a professional drummer playing an album quality recording. I have not a single beef with the whole thing. And yeah, unanimous decision of the one judge that is the winner. So Jason, congratulations. You clearly put time into preparing that. You clearly found a friend or a studio to do that in. And I sincerely appreciate the effort and sincerely appreciate you putting on something of a musical clinic for us all to learn something from. So congratulations. I will be sending a Roland Octopad to South Africa as soon as I get home. Okay, our runner-up. The runner-up position was a tough. It was a dogfight out there, but I feel good about who I've landed on. I spent several days with these finalists, coming back, sleeping on it, and then one day I'd wake up and be like, that's not the one. And the next day I'd wake up and be like, that's not the one either. And the one I kept coming back to and being like, this is a beautiful performance, was that of Joe Tavarez. Forgive me for this whole video of him butchering people's names. But Joe Tavarez, I don't know where you're from, but you killed it. And you did Old Yeller, which is a serious undertaking with a lot of space to be creative. And your video is absolutely killer. So again, runner-up. I'm going to send you 15 pairs of drumsticks. And check the description for the link to watch the full video. But just to highlight, again, why I loved this video is Joe... So, if you've heard the original of Old Yeller, you'll know that it's a pretty busy song, right? It's got this heavy section, the verse has a bunch of ghost notes, the outro is this like super open sort of thing. And there were a lot of submissions of people covering Old Yeller, and a lot of them were very good. And some of them were like so true to the record that it could have been, you could replace my part and be the record. So that was cool, but what I loved about Joe's performance is that it was clearly inspired by what I had done on the album. But his own style, his own personality and licks and vocabulary were sort of, they supplanted mine. So it's like the musical arc what remained the same, but not my licks, not my grooves, totally his thing, and done really musically. And what really sold me on Joe's performance was actually that last bit, right? It being musical. So if you watch his performance, the verse is there's really cool, intricate grooves going on, lots of cool ghost notes, and then he chooses, for example, over that, so there's the guitar like, and then the heavy section. So a mature choice here. He chooses to fill over that guitar lick, but the second time. So the first time he leaves space. The beginning of the song, he leaves pretty much as is. He's supporting the vocalist. He's just doing his thing. And then when that part comes, he fills over and you start to think like, I think this, it felt good. The fill he played with it, it wasn't to show off. It just, he matched up with the guitarist and he elevated that section. So you felt like, wow, this is taking a step up. Let me just find that real quick. And he's playing so freely over this section. I was just, again, going back to what lured me in, what I ended up looking for in these songs, is I was captivated watching this. I was confident that he was going to stay on the grid, that he was going to hit every note. And then to see him crack that smile after he hits that cool fill and just seem to be loving it, I was, as a listener, fully engaged in the whole thing. And then what really sealed the deal for me is how he played the outro, because half of the song is the outro. So you've got verse, chorus, and they're pretty, you can do some crazy stuff around it, but they're not that far. You can't go that far out of the box, right? The music is sort of demanding a groove like this and a groove like this. When we get to the outro, that's when you have free reign to let the art out. And this is where I feel like he really shined artistically and musically. I thought it was a really artful artful performance from this outro part to the end. So I'm just gonna play all of it, the outro, just so you can appreciate what I'm, what I was appreciating, and what I mentioned earlier about saving fuel in the tank for later, right? So there's tons of places in this song to chop, and he did some tasteful fills, but I wouldn't have called them chops. So he did tasteful fills. It's a busy song. He's complimenting it appropriately busily, and then when he busts out this triplet fill, and you'll hear it, I was like, that was a moment where I was like, we just elevated, right? We just took it to the next level. I didn't know you had that in you, and I don't even know what you played. It was so cool. And you notice he places it between lyrical moments, so he's musically being sensitive to what's happening in the song, and this section just builds, and it's cool. It moved me again. So here's what the outro sounds like. Get a little busier. Starts to add some toms that we didn't hear before. Tension's building along with the song. That's what this whole section's about. Author of, or the protagonist here in the song is Tortured Soul. Letting it out here. 10-4. Feels supernatural when you play it right. You just elevate. Space for the vocals to come in. Groove. It's his turn. Triplets. Yo, he's bad, man. Those chops on this. So I'm watching this the first time, you can imagine, I'm just like, he kind of messed up the end, I think, but that's okay. So, Joe Tavarez, congratulations on an incredible performance. Teach me some of those chops sometime, send me a video. But yeah, you're the runner-up of the contest. I'll get your address and send you a whole bunch of drumsticks. So, thank you. Now, please don't leave now, because there are a few other little bits and bobs of other videos that I really want to show you that are super cool. So first of all, now, leave the idea of winning and losing behind. This is not third, fourth, fifth. We're not like going down the list of favorites here. These are just things that stuck out to me, because you guys had so many cool ideas. Things that stuck out to me. Maybe there was a verse I was like, man, like no one played the verse like that. Or maybe there was just a mood that you created that was like, man, that was captivating. And even if it wasn't the whole song, maybe it was just a section, there's so much to learn from this. So here's a few sort of honorable mentions, if you will, or creative inspirations, just because I want to highlight these because they're so cool. So the first one, Dominic McNabb. Dominic McNabb is a 10-year-old from Johannesburg, South Africa. You have to watch this video because this kid is the future. And you watch this video, there are, what's crazy is the word that I want you to pay attention to when you watch this video is creative flow. This kid has the creative flow. It's in him, right? The musicality is in him, even at that young of an age. And the execution's not perfect, right? And he'll get that as he gets older, as he matures more. Some of the musical decisions, some of the placements of fills were, a little distracting as I was watching it. I didn't feel like it always complemented the music, but I'm blown away at how mature the musical ideas were. So if you just watch his solo, like if I go to verse 1, just listen to the groove here. So we're playing 5/4, feeling super natural, looking super comfortable. 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. Got a bunch of ghost notes in there. No one played that section like that. And then what's cool is he takes this 4-measure break here in a minute, and he decides, maturely, this is a drum solo section. But he didn't go full chops, right? So Dominic is already developing the sense. He already has the sense that he knows that's not the place for chops. Save the chops for later. Let me make an artistic statement here. And I don't think anyone else took that space specifically. Sorry if I'm forgetting that you did this. And played a solo there between grooves. Usually that would drop out. That's what I do in the albums. I think I drop out. But that was really cool. And you'll notice the next section here, he continues to build. And then we get to that loud middle section, and he says, okay, this is another drum moment. And you can notice the intensity is way higher now. And at 10 years old, to be playing dotted eighth notes, groups of 3 like that, over 5/4, and be as comfortable as he clearly is amazing. And then what he does on this outro groove, totally different than what I did on the record. Listen to this. This sort of like jazz double time thing. I love that. He does a pretty good job also listening to the vocals, flowing between the vocal lines. So, Dominic McNabb, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. This is the future of drumming, clearly. And, you're doing great. But I wanted to show those ideas, because that was just, when I watched it, I was like, this is like that instinct. You've got music in your bones. And, again, you'll get older as you mature. All these ideas, you'll hone them in a way that like perfectly complements the song, right? The contour, because you've got the chops to do it. It's just right now there are moments where it's like Forgive me for trying to give a lesson on a public YouTube video, but I met the kid in South Africa. I know he can handle it. He's doing all the right things, and he's as adorable and lovable and kind as you would hope. So that's cool. Next video I want to show you guys. Again, you have to watch these. This one moved me in a way that nothing else did. This was from Rohit from Bangalore, India. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. I don't actually have your last name either. But Rohit from Bangalore, India. Check the link in the description. Played I mean, you'll watch the video and you'll get what I mean. But like, his hands barely moved. Plays super quiet. I don't even think he ever plays like 16th notes. It's just slow, intentional grooves. It was almost like, as I was watching it, I was just like, no way. And I was so captivated and drawn in. And the decisions were so tasteful and so patient. It almost had watching it, I almost felt the air of meditation as I was watching it. So just to highlight a couple parts of his, like the verse 1 groove. And there's a lot of left foot hi-hat chicks that were involved in the melody, just creating these simple melodies between your 4 limbs, repeating them and letting them settle. Oh, so cool. So let me look at verse 2 here. This is the song California. Those ghost notes, hi-hat and ghost notes on the snare drum, same volume, creates that bed. No need to be flashy. And this, what he does here, very unique. This is where the backbeat ends up being placed. Backbeat's on 5/5. The right hand's playing every 5/16 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the left foot is hitting 2 and 4. It's got some other pattern going on. And he just chills out. Just wait for this next entrance. I'm telling you, I was moved by this.
I fall backwards through the madness, greeted with a smile that never fades, because we got this. We're in the only thing that matters. This is all a dream. I'm still in time to save you. Stay away from me. If we leave it here, we have forever. It dies if we leave. As I run away from my dream.
The dynamic control. Those little triplet ghost notes there. Dude.
California. Don't follow me out to California, out to California, out to California. Won't you let me stay?
That part of the song is actually about some extremely sad and introspective stuff. And the way he played that, it just, to me, it's like, it seems like what Dave was saying in the song just channeled directly into him. And he played the part that most perfectly captured that feeling. More perfectly than what I played on the album. It makes me emotional to listen to what he just did, because the song combined with that, it was like the perfect synergy of the intention behind that part of the art. And I just can't say enough about that performance. So, heck yeah, Rohit. Congrats. Couple other thoughts for you here. I'm going to reference a couple of videos. Some of you guys redefined sections in a really cool way. So you look at, again, sorry, name butchering here, Darryl Reberio. The way he played, for example, the outro of California. Check this out.
I fall backwards through the madness, greeted with a smile that never fades, because we got this. We're in the only thing that matters.
Right? I love that, right? It's controlled, brings in these 30-second notes, totally different vibe than what we just listened to. But it's like so cool. And it's just, I'm going to show you a couple examples how you can, well, maybe it'll give you some ideas how you can redefine a section based on a totally different approach to the groove. So that was one. He also had a really cool groove in verse, it was verse 2. Let me get to it.
The walls here have changed.
Super cool. Charles Villanueva from the Philippines. This, he redefined, so we just listened to the verse there. Listen to Charles Villanueva's verse of California with the tom. Becomes this tribal thing, right? It fits them. It totally works. Accent, or it brings something new out of that song. We can't talk about unique grooves without looking at Jim Berretta's video of something else. This guy went polyrhythm nuts on this. Check out his video is like a masterclass in polyrhythms, actually. 2 grooves that especially jumped out to me as super cool. At this sort of buildy B section. So his right hand's playing the second and third triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and his left hand's playing every 4 triplets. And he's moving around the toms in like a 6 or some pattern. I don't know how many it repeats, but homie is just putting that on that polyrhythm demonstration there. And then later, I just love this groove he plays. It's not a polyrhythm thing, but it's cool. Let me find it real quick. The reason I love this groove is because it's twice as long of a phrase as most people would do. Especially because this song, again, is so repetitive. It's all short. So he does this phrase, it's still going, tom. It has this arc. The bells, the hi-hat, the bells, but it has this like rocking motion, twice as long as most people would play a beat, twice as long as I think I play the beat in that section. And that's worth noting. Because again, doubling the length of your phrase opens up all these new melodies that you weren't before accessing. Listen to that one more time. Love that, Jim Berretta. And then some of you just used unique sounds, right? So you guys had so many creative ideas, a couple unique sounds. A couple of you guys used electronics. James Knoerl, again, I don't know how you pronounce your last name, but I think it's Knoerl. This section here, super cool. Went with the pad here. He really accented it well. It's like we had a synth player all of a sudden. Love that. He also busted out some double bass later. Speaking of double bass, unique sounds, several people submitted some double bass, like Niklas Borjesson, sorry. Check out this blast, I don't know, it's not a blast beat, crazy double bass at the end here. Whew, bro. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All these different interpretations of the same thing. Another unique sound here. Kévin Borqué. You guys, it's almost like that I specifically chose people with the hardest names to pronounce. But he's playing, I don't even know what it is. It's kind of off the screen, but it sounds like a hubcap or something. This metal thing you hear.
Oh, I can remember how I got here. There's a two horizons far to feel like.
Very cool. And then in the outro solo, he does some of this. Some of that kind of cross-sticky creative stuff. Really one of, if not the only person to do that kind of stuff. Cool sounds. They're just ideas to get cool sounds out. One I had never seen, Travis Haile, nailed that name, holding 3 sticks in his right hand. Maybe this is just what the kids are doing and I'm getting old. I've never seen it. Playing on the ride with 3 sticks, and it creates this cool clicky sound. It's like what hot rods wish they were. But check this out. Isn't that cool? I learned a ton watching these videos. Also, his verse 1 was cool. Was very groovy. Musically sensitive, dynamic, love it. So, that's all I got for you guys as far as stuff I want to show you. I hope you'll take time to watch some of those, watch other people's videos, and just, I mean, this is just a celebration of everyone's individuality, their interpretation of these songs, and how much space there is creatively. I hope in watching these, you are encouraged, not discouraged, because you'll see even the examples I just showed you, and if you dig in deeper, you'll find even more. People doing polar opposite ideas, just totally unrelated approaches to music, and them all being equally effective. So there's no right or wrong way to do music, especially the drums. So take ideas, take inspiration from everyone, whether it's a pattern, whether it's a mood that they create, whether it's an arc or a contour. Reach out to somebody. They're all on YouTube. They're all right here. And say, yo, how did you do that? Like, let's connect on Facebook and exchange some info. There's just so much cool stuff that you're all doing. I want you all to just be in the same room talking about it. Because I learned a ton from this. I was inspired. I was like moved genuinely by a lot of the performances. A lot of you said really nice things as well. It said, hey JP, like, thanks for doing this thing. For a lot of you, this was your first drum cover. If that was you, congratulations. That's a pretty big bit of fear for a lot of people to get over. Put yourself in front of a camera and do it. I hope that if you did this at all, you're less concerned about winning, and you're more concerned about, how did I grow doing this? You know, did I learn that I have a weakness? Did I learn that I have a strength? You know, so I hope you just tuned into the important things here, and that's it. So again, as I was watching these, I was taking notes on all of them. So if you're interested in hearing my notes, I didn't want to force them on anyone because you didn't sign up to get critiqued. You signed up to just submit a video. But if you'd like to hear my thoughts on your video a little bit more specifically, just send me an email. You know my email because you already submitted to the competition, and I'll send you what I've got. So again, congratulations Jason Moser, our winner. Congratulations Joe Tavarez, our runner-up. And congratulations everyone that participated, because seriously, it's a big deal that you did. I'm moved. I want to do this more in the future. And yeah, I'm just stoked for you guys. So thanks a lot for taking part in the contest. I'll talk to you soon.